Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. There is a full-blown controversy over a derogatory post which was put out from the Instagram handle of Congress leader Supriya Srinate. And now that controversy has reached a scale where the National Commission of Women has complained to the Election Commission of India to take appropriate action against the Congress leader. Now, we have to put this fact out that Supriya Shinate has deleted that post. She put out a video message saying that it was a parody account from which someone lifted that post. And apparently, she hinted at the fact that it looks like a conspiracy, how her account was hacked, and then her Instagram handle was used for all of that. But now, what has happened is that the older statements of Kangana Ranaut have been sifted out, where Kangana Ranaut has been making inappropriate comments about the old women who were sitting on protest during the Shaheen Bagh movement. Where you remember Kangana Ranaut had said that these old women have been bought for 100 rupees. So all of this conversation is doing the rounds on the social media, which has really vitiated the atmosphere and has put Supriya Shinade really in the dock. And BJP is trying to capitalize on this situation. So, how does one see this controversy? Joining me now is senior journalist and editor Javed Ansari. So, thank you so much for joining. We have TK Rajlakshmi, who's the senior deputy editor of the Frontline. Thank you, Rajlakshmi. And we have Vivek Deshpande, senior journalist and political commentator. Thank you, Vivek, so much for joining. Let me begin with Rajlakshmi because it's an issue which is related to the women. And here, this whole sparring of on the social media, which we see between the supporters of Supriya Shinade and between the supporters of Kangana Ranaut. So, how does one see? Of course, one doesn't condone, one doesn't support what Supriya Shinade had put out. Whether she put out or it was put out by mistake, that's a separate question altogether. But the very fact that this kind of a derogatory statement was put out from a social media handle, what would you really say, Rajlakshmi?
Yeah, it's a matter of concern. I think definitely, Nilu. I don't think there's any doubt about that. None of us would disagree that it is an issue that is serious. But the fact remains. Uh, for instance, whether she actually sort of did it or not. She has said she has gone on record saying that it was not her, and maybe somebody else sort of hacked into her account and and did that. So as far as Supriya is concerned, she has said quite. Quite categorically that she has had nothing to do with that image, and that being woman herself, etc., she wouldn't resort to such derogatory levels of portraying women. Uh, but I think what intrigues me is the entire action of the NCW here. You see, I mean, it might yes, there are lots of filth that comes social media, yes, but on the other hand, the NCW has sort of taken a very strong, proactive stance on this, and has even sort of written to the election commission for. I mean, I do not know why, because the NCW itself is a statutory body which has which was made under an act of parliament. So it itself has statutory powers to deal with the situation if the need be. But then, as one has seen, yeah, so for it to approach the election commission is sort of weird. I mean, it does hint at a certain amount of politically motivated intervention at this stage. And in fact, as far as the NCW itself is concerned, I mean, it sat for over a month. When the incidents of sexual violence were coming from Manipur. I mean, it sat over a month. It did not do anything to either intervene proactively. I mean, as much as it's doing in this case, it did not do anything when the whole issue of the wrestlers. Sexual harassment came to light involving an MP. There, it did not take any proactive stance, and sort of writing to various constitutional authorities to do something about it. It similarly, its entire partisan approach towards issues has been quite transparent. I mean, frankly, there's no two ways about it. Last year in July, it holds a selective consultation, Nilu, on the issue of reviewing the personal laws of Muslims. So So then the women's organizations wrote to it, as to why are you selectively doing it. I said, if you have to review, then you review all the personal laws of all religions. Why should you hold, a consultation, especially on this issue? So its own sectarian approach and selective approach to dealing with women's issues has been quite out there in the open. And in fact, Manipur was the biggest shocker, Neelu. I mean, as to why wouldn't the apex statutory body, created for this country, in fact, would not send a team out there and sort of waited over, as I said, over a month to even do anything. It did not ask the chief minister to step down. It did not send a fact-finding team. It didn't do as much as it does in the case of states which are led by by non-BJP governments. I mean, it's more proactive. It's always been seen. Yeah.
But Javed, if you look at the social media today, all sorts of statements which Prime Minister also has said about the women earlier, and some very, very startling statements like "50 crore ki girlfriend," Jersey guy, and all those sort of comments are being raked on the social media, saying that these are the kind of comments which were put out by the Prime Minister also in the past, and the Godi media, as in the mainstream media, hasn't been questioning any of the BJP leaders. But is that the way to really justify what has happened over this particular controversy? And would anyone really absolve Supriya Srinate for the kind of post which she really has put out? And she put out a video message saying that though she has deleted it, it was a conspiracy by someone. So should one have sympathy for Supriya or not at this point of time? That's also a question.
Look, as far as the post was concerned, whether whether her account was hacked, whether it was a parody account, genuine account, whatever, it was in very poor taste, condemnable, and it should never happen. And no woman should be subjected to this such kind of stuff. Having said that, I know Supriya Chinate. I knew her father very well. I know Supriya Chinate. She's been a colleague, and I'd be very surprised if somebody like her, or if she would allow, if she would associate herself with something like this. Having said that, she and all public figures, they need to be very careful. She says a lot of people have access to my accounts. Now that is her responsibility. The buck stops with her. She needs to be very careful of who have. Why should a million people have access to your account? Why should
Hmm.
even half a dozen people have? You
Right.
will be held responsible ultimately at the end of the day. I've seen from past experience that electioneering sometimes brings out the worst in us, and this includes everybody. It includes the prime minister. It includes parliament politicians from amongst the opposition, and this is in very poor taste. This all just adds to the kind of cynicism, mistrust, and the low esteem that people hold politicians. And so, therefore, I am neither blaming Supriya Srinate nor condoning or giving her a clean sheet. But the fact of the matter is that this is in very poor taste, and it shows the Indian polity in very poor taste.
Absolutely. But there's also risk, I mean, you call it the modern day risk, Vivek, that, all these politicians now are compulsively, they have to be on the social media. And obviously, because they are busy in their constituency, there are 10 other people looking at the social media accounts. If you remember, a similar thing happened with Mahua Moitra, because it did come out in public that, there were people who were handling her account from elsewhere. So is this a modern day risk with which politicians are really living with, and they will have to find out a way forward for this kind of a problem? Because in times where people can put pressure, and especially when you have a government at the center which is known to repress its politicians by hook or by crook, so who knows, there could be a conspiracy from the government side. I mean, I'm just tossing out an if and but is this not a big risk with which the politicians are living? Here it's a woman, but otherwise as well, even for a man politician, the similar risk exists.
Yeah, Nilu, I don't think I would not say that this is the yeah, reflection of the times we are living in. I would say that this is a reflection of the political culture that BJP has ushered in over the last 10 years. I mean, we haven't seen so many such statements becoming a new normal over the last 10 years, and most of those statements have come from the BJP side. I mean, they have not only said so many bad things as we have recounted earlier, but they have reasoned them out as well. So this abysmally low political culture has been brought in by the BJP. So if at all some people have come into this kind of a culture, and they have also started responding to it in their own way, then it is only for the BJP to blame. The BJP must take the blame for it, because they have made everything look very normal. If the person of the stature of prime minister can say Congress ki vidwa, I mean, there can't be anything worse than what he has said. So BJP has to itself blame for what has happened. As far as Srinath's quote is concerned, having known Supriya Srinate for so long, we have seen Kangana Ranaut, we have seen Supriya Srinate. Between the two, my benefit of doubt goes to Supriya Srinate. If at all she has said it, and if it gets proved at the end of the day, she must face the music for it, because there is no scope for such statements in a democracy, in a decent democracy. And Congress must take the lead in ensuring that kind of probity in political life. But then, if she has
No, but
not
do you
said
think
it,
that Congress, Vivek, but do you think that Congress is really doing that? Is it taking a lead? Because, now all the Congress politicians are trying to justify in some way or the other, they're trying to cover up the whole thing, and they are trying to give examples to the BJP. Now, say, for example, there's a clip which is doing the rounds on the social media of an interview of Kangana Ranaut with Navika Kumar, where she has called Urmila Matondkar a soft
yes,
porn star,
yes,
and saying that she's got the
yes,
ticket
yes.
because she's a soft porn star. So, I mean, I don't see. I mean, there's an equal hatred which is being spread on both sides.
So it's a case of pot calling the kettle black. Now, if this lady is accusing Supriya Srinate of having said what has been quoted, then she would get it in equal measure from people who have seen her put out such statements, or worse than such statements, in the past. She has not only said this about Urmila Matondkar, she has spoken out against Karan Johar, she has spoken out against Filmfare, she has spoken out against so many other people. And she has called Bombay Pak, like Pak, she has compared Bombay to Pak occupied Kashmir, Mumbai to Pak occupied Kashmir. After which there was this controversy, and her house was demolished, partly demolished by the Uddhav Thackeray government. So she has this uncanny knack of landing in a soup with her irresponsible statements, and uh, whenever she has a failure, she blames it on the other. So Kangana Ranaut has been inviting these kind of accusations for the last so many years. But it's wrong to say any such thing which has been attributed to Supriya Srinate against her, no matter what Kangana Ranaut herself has said in the past. I mean, it cannot be an alibi for saying anything against her. Let her say whatever she wants to say, because that is the political culture she belongs to. But you don't let your political culture go down to that level where you become an equal with Kangana Ranaut. So, but then this kind of issues against Kangana Ranaut will come up whenever such a controversy will stir up against her. And the worst thing that she has said is that India has got independence in 2014. I mean, this is the kind of personality which the BJP has awarded with a Lok Sabha ticket. So people will say all kinds of things against her now. She has herself to blame, and the BJP has herself to blame. And as far as such statements are concerned, I mean, we know for sure that such statements and worse than such statements have come from BJP's handles many a time before, and directly from the horse's mouth, as far as the BJP leaders are concerned. So BJP is nobody, or this Sangh Parivar is nobody to. And the most important thing is the RSS believes that women have a certain role to play, and the RSS chief has said it in so many words that women must take care of the children and household, and the husband, and there is a contract. The husband will earn the livelihood, and she will give the husband whatever he wants. I mean, that is the kind of statement the RSS chief himself has said. So, if Kangana Ranaut is an antithesis of what RSS chief has said, then they have only themselves to blame for the kind of accusations, the kind of criticism they invite. Because if Kangana Ranaut is, it doesn't mind getting videographed in bikini, despite what the RSS chief says, then people will point accusing fingers at her only. Of course, I mean, there's nothing wrong in getting videographed in bikini. I'm not saying that, but you belong to a party, belong to a culture which uh, gives a certain
Right.
role to a women, and you act exactly as an antithesis of that, and then you point fingers at others about the same things. So this is the hypocrisy which is the hallmark of the Sangh Parivar, and I don't blame the public who are now putting out those old things about Kangana Ranaut. She gets paid in the same coin. Neelu.
Right. Absolutely. But the big question now is, Raj Lakshmi, I'll come to you, that is the BJP taking this issue, you know, way beyond the limits? Because of elections, they want to capitalize. And here there's a lady from the Congress who's heading the social media cell. So the stakes are high. So, which is why there's no backing down from the BJP's end. I mean, the lady has gone ahead, put out a video message saying that she's deleted it and some conspiracy has happened. But even then, BJP is not ready to leave Supriya Srinate. They are taking the controversy too far. I mean, National Commission of Women going and reporting it to the Election Commission. I mean, do you see any logic in this? And can you really blame BJP for it if they're doing it?
It's quite anticipated. It's on anticipated lines, Nilu. The fact remains is that the matter should have closed. When she has said that
Yes.
that it may have gone out, inadvertently, and it may have been sort of misused by somebody else, and that she, as woman, would not stoop to such standards and sort of hurt the dignity of another woman. I mean, she said something to that effect. I do not know exactly what she said, but she has denied that she has sort of made that. She has posted that image as well as the comments accompanying that image. So the matter should have ended there. But then to take it a step further, and for the NCW, that's what I'm saying, that it's not as serious a sexual offense as was committed in Manipur. It's not as serious as a sexual offense that was committed in the case of the wrestlers. But here you have the NCW just goes ahead and complains to the EC of all. Of all institutions, perhaps to say that it is violation of the code of conduct in some form, or that maybe they should censure the Congress, or maybe they should censure Miss Srinate herself. Now, yes, the issue should have closed here. But the BJP has sensed an opportunity here to attack the Congress and to call it anti-women and so on and various things. But then I suppose, given its own record of the kind of language, as the co-panelists have also mentioned, the kind of language, the kind of understanding that both the BJP as well as RSS have about women in general is quite well known. And it's a complete no holds barred which happens during elections. All kinds of things are said, loosely are said, and some of which the election EC sometimes takes notice of, and I think in most of the cases it doesn't. So so here, of course, it's extremely selective amnesia for the BJP to say that it's a big fighter for women's rights. It's not, at least on record. It's not. I mean, the kind of language its own leaders, including the PM, have used for Congress women leaders. It's not flattering in the least, and there has been no apology. There's been no apology so far, or even any kind of contriteness.
Hmm.
If I recall, for having used such kind of a language during the campaigns. Uh, as far as this issue itself is concerned, I think it's going to die down. Frankly, to sustain a little campaign around this for too long, I do not think it really sort of having too much of an impact. Yes, Ms. Runout might exploit this to the hilt during her campaigns, and she does always seem to have an exaggerated sense of grievance, which has been seen in her conflict with her Bollywood colleagues also. But then, of course, that apart, that's a different kind of a conflict. But here now she's, she's now in the political fray. Now I think that yes, I think one has to make a distinction when public personalities speak, disparagingly about women, and about, yes, individuals who might speak in their in their personal capacities. So if she has held certain views in her personal capacity vis-a-vis her Bollywood colleagues, that's a different issue. But the fact is that both Supriya ji as well as Ms. Ranaut are, public personalities right now, and they're going to and they're also political personalities. So in that sense, a certain amount of responsibility has to be exerted from sort of both ends. And I think I think Supriya Srinate, the benefit of doubt, as I think Javed and I think Vivek also said, she's not known as a person who speaks, or at least so far has not spoken or done anything frivolously about women. She hasn't. I mean, she may be a very vocal, strong speaker and a good spokesperson of the Congress, extremely combative also on issues. But as far as women's issues are concerned, she's been very consistently strong and quite, I'm quite, let's say, in fact, vociferous, whether it's a Hathras case, whether it's various issues. So I don't see her, sort of objectifying Ms. Ranaut in this form. At least, definitely not. Yeah.
Right, but the bit where you said that you are ready to give that benefit of doubt to Supriya, and if I have to take that forward, that point forward, Javed, that if you'll have to unmute yourself, that if Supriya has offered an apology, then shouldn't the question be raised today for all those past comments which are being raked up by Kangana Ranaut, which have been raked up by the Prime Minister? So will Kangana Ranaut and Prime Minister, will they apologize? Isn't that a natural question to ask? If Supriya Srinate has offered an apology, she realized the mistake for whatever reasons that post was put out. So shouldn't the Prime Minister and Kangana Ranaut also offer apology for the kind of comments which they made earlier? Because it has become such a big scene on the social media.
Well, I've never heard of an apology with retrospective effect, least of all from the BJP. So please disabuse yourself of this notion. There will be no apologies forthcoming.
Hmm.
The best thing is to move on, and I assume people will move on because there will be events that will overtake this.
Absolutely.
And this will be relegated to the background for now. Look, the election atmosphere has become so, the whole politics has become so vitiated and toxic that everything is par for the cause. Anything that is available is par for the cause, whether it is women, whether it is, mercifully they've spared children till now, but otherwise it's only just a matter of time. I've seen how the political discourse, especially during elections, in my life, in the time since I've been covering elections, how it just keeps going lower. I don't know how much lower the bar will be set. But it
Absolutely.
just keeps getting worse with every election. So I don't expect any apologies. I do hope that perhaps incidents like this will compel political parties and political leaders of all shades to try and examine, you know, to try and set for them certain moral limits, certain limits, and abide by them. Because there is no way, a letter from the NCW and all, expecting the NCW or the Election Commission to be impartial is like expecting the earth to be flat. That's
Hmm.
not going to happen.
Okay. So I'll come for the concluding comment to you, Vivek. So, what do you think is the biggest takeaway from this particular controversy, which arose last evening, and it's still like growing on the social media? What do you think is the biggest takeaway for the Congress as a party, which is being blamed, and her leader being blamed, and also for the BJP as well? Now that the election
So
season
I
is, yes,
And I think Congress has to be extra cautious about their Instagram or their WhatsApp or whatever handles they do use on a regular basis. They must check. Yeah, how come Supriya Srinate did not know that there was there was a handle which was going in the name of some parody, Supriya parody or Srinate parody, whatever. So how did she not know about it? If it has been going on for some time, she must have known it, and they must be extra careful, find out everything that is going in their name, whether it's genuine or not, and steer clear of any such controversies in future. But I think the most important takeaway is that the Congress must be combative in taking up such or moral arguments for the BJP, because BJP has absolutely set lowest standards of morality, political morality, and social morality, and every kind of morality in this country. So Congress should not get bogged down by what BJP says, and must brazen it out as far as it can, if the Congress is in the right. I'm not saying that if Congress has done something wrong, it should still brazen it out, because we don't want India to have an alternative, equal and opposite alternative to the BJP. We want something different than the BJP. But if Congress has not done anything wrong, it must stand up and be combative and counter the BJP's propaganda in equal measure. Nilu.
So we'll have to wait and watch. But for now, at least the controversy shall soon end, because the video apology has been put out. That post also has been deleted. But we'll have to wait and watch how the Election Commission of India reacts, or will it react? That's also another question. Thank you so much, Javed Ansari, Rajlakshmi, Vivek. Thank you so much for joining. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion: subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to the Federal. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.